Hello, buddy. Welcome to Cow Daily. This week, Pickas is joining me again from the CWU. Those who were here last week will remember him. For those who don't, or this is your first show that you've tuned into, full disclosure, Pickas and I went to school together and we've been friends for 30 odd years, as well as him being my mum and dad's postie in the place where I grew up, which is mint. And it's been really nice to see him progress and become somewhat of a working class hero on the Picket. So, without any further ado, here's my good friend, Michael Pickering. How you doing, pal? You good?
Good morning, everyone. Yeah, fine, mate. Yeah.
Good stuff. Before we start with the important stuff, what's the weather like on the picket line there?
It's cold and it's damp, but we've still got a fairly good turnout. And all the other officers, I've seen the reps group. We've got a WhatsApp group. All the different officers around Newcastle, Gateshead, Sunderland, all strongly turned out.
Oh, yeah. That's good news. I tell you, one of the most uplifting things is noticing the CWU feeding us pictures of all the different picket lines around the country.
Oh, yeah.
And what it looks like to me is morale's good based on the pictures. Is that the case? Is morale holding together nicely?
Morale's holding together. It is difficult for people, obviously, with money-wise. People with young families and this. But we can't accept the changes, what the CEO wants and the business want.
Would you want to explain what those are, just to set the scene for people?
Yeah, well, I was saying last week, the one basically Uberize with, make like a gig economy.
Sure.
That's what it'll end up. They want to get rid of existing staff and replace them with, this is our plan, replace them with casual workforce. We've already got 11,000 casuals working at the moment, and they're saying they want rid of 10,000 people. You know what I mean? Really? So they want rid of them, and then they want to bring cheaper labour in. It's just not on. You know
what it seems to me, Pickers, right? Like looking into this more since last week, especially, it seems to me like if the posties don't win this, right? If everybody in the public doesn't get behind them, then it's completely against the public's interest, because it seems to me that there's a big move like to dismantle workers' rights since coming out of the EU, because we're not protected by them.
Yes.
And there's a lot of propaganda around it. And I think the postie struggle is everybody's, because if yous lose, we all lose, because they'll move against everybody's workers' rights. So I think people need to understand it when there's like maybe it's a little bit inconvenienced with what's going on. They need to understand that it's their fight as well. And I certainly do, from looking into what's actually happening, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Also, I was just saying, I made a comment to some of my colleagues before. They're going about strengthening the economy and stuff. How many people would default on their mortgages if these people get their way? It's just not going to do the country. Like, that's just one example. And obviously, we want money. Oh, there we go. There's the truth.
All right. Go on, the people
exactly. And like I said last week, we want money in our pockets so we can spend in local businesses instead of going into the Cayman Islands, places like that, into greedy shareholders' pockets that don't even know what to do with the money that they're making.
It's crazy, isn't it? It's like they're hoarding it like mad wealth dragons, where people like scared to put their heating on. I mean, I'm sitting here in my coat in the house. It's just like what, like that's never been a thing. It's like normally you've got the thing on a timer at 6 o'clock, and by the time you actually get out your scratcher, it's lovely and warm, and you just can't afford it anymore, can you? It's like looking at the meter and that.
Yeah, crazy, and it's me and my wife are all right. It's just me and her. But I think about my colleagues with kids and stuff like that, and then, they were telling us that they've got to put the heating on at a certain time when they get in, and one lad doesn't put the heating on until his kids get home, like time it right for the kids getting home from school. That's how bad it is. It's not on. You know what I mean?
It's unacceptable. I mean, it's like, we'll have a look at the weather app, right, where you are. 2 seconds. I'll just pull it up and just see what it is that you are having to deal with there. So you're going out on it, like you're on a picket line, and you go like on a full paper, like a full paper round.
That was years ago when I was at school, Gary. That's what I did my apprenticeship.
Between me and you, and I don't know who this will get to, I think it's beyond the statute of limitations. I robbed an absolute gang of chocolate bars and razzles. Sell them up at school.
I wouldn't admit to that. I never done no like that.
Anyway, what we've got here, right, is 2 degrees and freezing fog in Bladen, right?
Yeah,
and the real feel on that is below freezing. So, if you look at the postal round that you're doing, right, you're going out freezing cold, and then there's people worried about putting the heating on when they get in. That's
Yeah.
not sustainable because you'll get ill eventually. It's just you've
Exactly.
got to kind of take that kind of stress, you know.
Yeah, and then that costs the economy money because people go on the sick.
Exactly.
Things like,
It's like-
you know.
It is crazy, like, isn't it? I mean, I think a lot of it's down to the people who run these things, like the CEOs and whatnot. They just
Yeah.
seem to be like out of touch
Oh,
with
absolutely.
what's the reality
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
working people's daily existence. And
Mhm.
that's the point. It's working people. Not that
Yeah.
we should cut anybody loose who's on benefits or whatever, because there's a
Absolutely
huge
not.
proportion of people who are working who are on in-work benefits.
Exactly.
What I'm trying to like discern is the difference between like good people like yourself and CEOs and the pay and all of that is exponential. I mean, I was reading that your CEO's on something like 65 grand a month. And
Yeah.
it's like,
Mhm.
I mean, that's just astronomical.
And-
like, you know, 1 month he's getting like more than a post he's getting in a year by
Yeah.
far. It's like
And
a
on the
different
back-
world, isn't it?
On the back of that, working people claiming benefits is like the government benefits are subsidising these CEOs and companies.
Mhm.
Do you know what I mean? For us just to come to work and live when the company should be paying for it, really. You know what I mean? The heat and eat, you know?
Well, there's no doubt about that, mate.
Yeah.
No
Mhm.
doubt about it. I tell you what, right? There's a little video I've got to play you, and it's
Yeah.
Dave Ward from the CWU.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to get your reaction on it and like
Right.
let me know what's actually happening. So just
Okay.
bear with us, mate. I'll just pull it up and we'll just set it away.
By Unite. It is absolutely breaking
Just bear with
all
us,
kind
mate.
of trade
There was a bit
union
of a technical
protocols.
'cause
Not a
the
It's
problem.
not trade
I'll
unionism.
just
And if
restart that
there's
for
people
you.
in Unite
Yeah.
who
The
think
internet's playing silly buggers the day.
Aye. Is that the
Right, hang on
fog
a minute.
again, Gary?
Right, we're gonna 1, 2, 3. You
the
hear that all right?
disgrace, there's no
I've heard it plenty
excuses that
before.
anybody
I think
could
I know
put
what it's
forward,
about.
from another trade union
Yeah.
on the actions
read
of
it
the
anyway.
managers who are represented by Unite. It is absolutely breaking all kind of trade union protocols. It's not trade unionism. And if there's people in Unite who think that they're going to ride on the back of our members, which is exactly what they're doing, I mean, it's disgraceful behaviour in a way where we take the action and our strength and the company are going to them to get them on board and putting money in front of them, no matter how much it affords, as well as all the agencies and everything else, just to break our members' strikes and break the morale of our members and, you know, finish off jobs. It's not on. What I'd say to everybody listening is that we'll be taking it up with Unite. I've tried to contact the General Secretary twice in the last 24 hours. You can imagine that's going to be a difficult conversation. And yes, absolutely, we will be raising it at the TUC as well. If there's any managers out there watching this, you need to seriously think about whether or not you belong to a trade union, that you're actually going to carry this out. It is disgraceful. It's not acceptable. And I'm saying to you, you know, I'm frustrated. I'm angry at it as well. That we'll take it up directly with the General Secretary of Unite. Don't do it, managers. You're going to be, your jobs will go at some point. You're being used. I think in the video I saw earlier on today from one of our members saying that the managers are sort of like lemons jumping off a cliff. Listen, it's outrageous, and you've got to stop that type of behaviour if you want to be a trade unionist.
So, Pickas, did you hear that all right?
Yeah,
Did you?
I didn't hear it, but I know what it's about. Exactly. I've read it. And
no problem. I mean,
yeah,
I hope
not
that's
a
actually
problem.
went out on the stream. There was the internet crash. But just for people who, in case you did hear it or you didn't hear it, right? I'll just explain it. What Dave Ward, from the CWU, is saying that there's Unite Union members and Unite the Union are actually negotiating on behalf of Royal Mail managers to go in and break the strike and work during the strike? Like, can you give me a bit more on this?
Well, the managers have been going in working, which is normally done anyway, you know, and they're right on the back of us like a lot of T&Cs. But what they're also saying is they're going to give them bonuses to like do these revisions and get rid of people. You know, the detriment of our members, CWU members, they're going to make bonuses out of that. They're getting offered bonuses, which is wrong. You should not, as another trade union, be using our members at the detriment of our members You know what I mean? It's
Not at
just
all.
not on. TUC, Dave Ward, quite right. He needs to get in touch with Sharon Graham, which he will from Unite, and she needs to get a grip on our negotiators. It's absolutely disgusting that another trade union should ride on the back of us, and especially what they're asking the managers to do. And I think a lot of the managers I know, and I've discussed it with them, they're embarrassed about it as well. They don't want to do that to the members either. You know, a lot of the managers, I'm not saying all of them, but ones I've discussed it with, they're not happy with it either. You know, and like I say, Sharon Graham, get a grip on your negotiators. I would say, like, definitely.
I mean, obviously they're using the leverage principle at Unite, like most unions, and like you should never use other working people as leverage.
No,
to get,
absolutely
better
not.
Deals for your members. That's not how trade unionism's meant to work, is it?
No, absolutely. And it'll be brought up with the TUC. You know what I mean? So definitely. And I think something might happen. We'll have to see. But Sharon Graham, who makes herself being all militant, this or the other, well, I don't think that's very good what's happened. So I know Unite's a big union and it's got loads of different disputes going on, but she needs to have her and Dave Ward need to like discuss and come to some arrangement about this. You know what I mean? It's just not on.
Definitely, mate.
Yeah.
I tell you what, before we go on, we'll take some comments and we've got some messages of support here.
Okay.
Melanie Canton, solidarity with all the strikers is coming in.
Thank you, Melanie.
Joanne is saying there's no logic behind the government's position. They want the public to crumble. It's mad. I mean, that's the thing. It just seems like there is no logic. And just on an economics level, it's very incoherent to like keep driving all of this down because, as you said, if we as working people who tend to spend money and circulate money around the economy, haven't got the money to do, which people already don't because of the cost of living, like what the economy can't work.
No,
I mean, like, obviously, like the post-Brexit sort of impact is like it's the only European economy that's actually declining by 4%.
I've seen that as well. Yeah,
and it's like you cannot keep contracting an economy like that and expect it to hold fast. It can't.
Definitely not.
Like if a pound isn't worth a loaf of bread, then what is it worth? It's that hyperinflation thing again. So.
Yeah.
When people are maybe feeling a bit inconvenienced by what you're doing, again, I would say that like collectivize that and understand that if the posties lose, we're all going to lose, and that's like you're holding a real line against like some pretty bad forces, and I think you should be respected for it, really. There was a question like that I wanted to raise with you, and it's just on that. There's like I've had people getting in touch, right, and they run small businesses, and they're worried leading to Christmas. In terms of can they fulfill their orders because they're not sure how the strike's going to impact it, and there's already customers saying I haven't received me. In this case, it was an item of jewelry. And as I said, this person got in touch and they're fully in support of what you're doing, but it is having an impact. I mean, what would you say to people like that, Pickas?
First of all, from a union point of view, we're very sorry. We love serving our customers, love providing a service, but at the same time, if these get their way, there won't be the service secure, punctual service at an affordable price. It'll just be any Tom, Dick, or Harry delivering stuff. You'll get undesirables come in. You know, we know our customers, 32 million addresses, and they just want to dismantle that. Yeah. And they haven't got a clue. We're really sorry. We hate doing this, but in the long run, it needs to be done because we need a secure postal system for the country. Definitely. As well, I
mean, the point that just comes up to me straight away: these economy and all these couriers, they're not like fulfilling the orders the same and within a timely fashion. So if everything goes towards that gig economy kind of work, that Uberization kind of work, mid to long term, if you get defeated in this strike, like I'm worried about I order things online quite a lot just if I need.
So do we. Yeah,
it's just a standard thing these days, and I can get them cheaper as well. So. You always know when it's coming by a courier because you're chasing it. If it's coming by Royal Mail, you just forget about it.
Yeah. Also, under these new proposals, they want to shut what's called the caller's office, which is a great selling point for us from a business point of view. Obviously, we're private now. We've got to think about this. You know, to be profitable, keep winning jobs. We've got what's called the caller's office at our office, at Bladen office, and you've got people who live locally. So if they're not in, they've got the opportunity to come down the office and pick their parcel up. And you know what I mean? And it's nice and handy for people. Instead of what I think Royal Mail wanted to do is attempt to deliver it 3 days in a row. And if they're not in on the third day, it gets sent back to the sender. I mean, where's the logic in that? And it doesn't. And you know, a CEO, I'll not name him again. He keeps going on about we want to do what the customer wants. It's not what the customer wants. It's what he wants for his own pocket. You know what I mean? And the shareholders' pocket. It's not going to work. And we know that. We know the job as CW members, inside out. We can advise managers how to do the job. You know, how we would discuss it with managers. That's the way it should work.
Definitely.
Keep the business profitable, keep it working, and they just want to destroy that. You know what I mean? And we can see, I'm telling people when they come and pick their parcels up, this will be closed in January if they get their way.
You know the amount of parcels I've picked up there?
Yeah.
It's just been such a great thing to be able to do. You
Yeah.
get your red card, you can do
that's the one.
show your
Take
ID, get your things.
Exactly.
And quite often, like obviously I wasn't in. We're like Hermes and whatever, man. You're like on some online interface trying to sort it out. What about older people who aren't as traditionally like savvy with the internet? We're taking a whole range of personalized and face-to-face services out, which are really important for older people. And you know yourself, being a postie, you speak to everybody, and I bet you sometimes, some days, you're the only person some people will speak to.
Just coming on to that, Gary, it's like what we're doing in the community as well. With eyes and ears in the morning, I can give you some examples of good things that people have done. I've got some dogs visiting here. It's all right. There we go. That's all right. Yeah, there we go. Standing fast with her. I mean, I remember a guy in the pandemic. I forgot his name. I don't want to name him. Old guy, about 70-year-old. He'd recently lost his wife. You know, he was in on his own. He was vulnerable, so he couldn't go out. And I think only people he'd seen was his next door neighbour and me. And I've got to know this guy, and I see him walking around Blade, and he's a lovely old guy, you know, and I just think he's probably seen nobody else during these like few months being stuck in the house. You know what I mean? And then this happens all the time. You've got people come out and talk to you all the time because you can see old people, they're lonely and stuff like that, you know, and they love seeing the postie or whatever. It's just, or if something's happened to them, you're there and you can call for help if anything happens to them, things like that. I'll give you another example. I even did CPR on somebody in Roland's Gill once.
Wow.
This guy lying on the floor, so I had a bit of training doing that. That guy's still alive though. You
were trained through the union or the
I was trained through Royal Mail as well, but I did some as another course I did outside of work. But I'm trained now with Royal Mail, like that's a health and safety side the union pushes for, and I'm ready to do that again. That's happened to somebody else at work. They did CPR and writing. Also, there was another guy at work. He found an old man, bless him. He was dead on his doorstep, and he called for help. I mean, he could have been lying there for days if he, you know.
Well, quite, aye. And I mean, if you look at the cuts to like ambulance medical services, like what you're explaining is you're like a first responder in some respect. It's like you've saved somebody there. It's
not just me. There's often stories in the office of what like good little acts that we've all done when you come into work the next day. Oh, such and such did this yesterday, and all like, oh, well done. And what else? I remember a shop got robbed in there one morning. The old guy behind the counter, he's a bag of nerves because of what happened. Somebody threatened him with a brick just to nick some cigarettes, tabs. You know what I mean? Well, I got the police and that, and had to make him a cup of coffee, try and settle them down and that. First thing in the morning, nobody about. It's not, like I say, it's not just me, it's my colleagues as well. I picked an old lady up, she broke her hip. She would have been, I think she might have been lying there for a few hours, got the neighbours in. That's near where your mum and dad live, actually, about 20 years ago. That. Really? You know, that's just examples of what I've done. 115,000 posties around the country. What do we do in the communities?
115,000,
yeah,
isn't it?
exactly.
That's a lot of good in society.
Exactly.
I remember during the like lockdowns, man, I got quite emotional seeing the postie going around. Like, it's just mad, like the bin lads as well and all of that.
Oh,
Like I just thought, you know what it is? Because it was at the point where nobody knew what was going to happen. We all secretly thought we were going to die in some respect.
Exactly. A lot of people,
And I just saw you was going around and I just was like, that's bravery, you know. You sort of just got on with it, and people need to stop forgetting that, you know.
You know, it was difficult in the office as well that time. I was rep then, like sub-rep as well at the time. And that was the most challenging time. Apart from this, what's happening now, most challenging time I've had as a rep. The health and safety issues, 2-meter rule in the office. I mean, I think if this CEO had his way, he would, well, I heard stories about different places. I'll not saying it, but they
Aye.
were just ignoring the 2 meters and that. And I mean, we had to work in vans on our own. We normally work as a pair. We had to change all the planning in the office. The office isn't big enough to start with, so it was, we had to change shift patterns. But we did it.
It was hardcore for you at the time.
Yeah, we did it. We got on with it. And actually, when I was out on the streets, it was just like everybody wanted to talk to you because I was seeing nobody.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And you were asking.
I mean, the thing is, that would be like a normal day for you in a normal time.
Oh,
anyway,
yeah.
Everybody loves you. We run where we live.
Yeah, it was very difficult. Like, the staff's concerned, they were coming into work and they were like losing their tempers and that. I didn't blame them for doing it because they were worried about their families back home.
Yeah.
Worried about vulnerable partners, what they might take back home. There was outbreaks in certain offices where, bear in mind, these offices were like stuck to the roof with parcels. There was outbreak. It was very difficult mentally as well in the office to deal with. And so we had a few outbreaks, and then it was at the start when people were like shit scared, basically, weren't they?
Everybody was, but that's what I'm saying. That's what kind of got us a bit emotional because nobody knew what was going on in there. You were out, and it was the continuity. It was like as well of that still looks normal.
Yeah, it probably
that was a beautiful
people.
thing, and I think that it's to be commended. And there's too many people forgotten about that, I think.
Oh, we know that, definitely, especially the CEO.
I just want to bring a couple of things up as well. Just here as well, the CW tweeted this, and I'll read it out. Right? Millions of letters are being left undelivered every day as Royal Mail deliberately prioritise parcels as part of their strategy to run down the company. It's shameful, and it's now being exposed. Pickas, do you want to explore that with me? What's that about?
Yes, definitely. Well, what they're doing is they seem to be, like I say, I can't really comment on my own notice. I'm trying to word this properly. We can't do all the work that's there. So they're saying, right, just deliver the track parcels first. And there's stuff left in it. There's stuff not getting delivered, letters, this, that, that should be delivered as part of the universal service, which Ofcom should be keeping an eye on. And it's just not getting done. There's stuff lying about, important letters, cards, stuff like that. They're just not interested in that.
Yeah.
They're just interested in the profit of it. So you've got your Christmas cards and that, and it's just absolutely disgraceful. They're just not interested in them anymore.
What do you think the end game for that is? What's the strategy there? What's that for?
I don't know. I really don't know. But my guess is they want to take the profitable part of the business, take it away, and I don't even know. Maybe give the letters part back to the government. I don't know. But what you have in other countries, you have like France, Germany. And Royal Mail has got what's known as JLS, which is like the parcel force in Europe, and that props up the service here. A bit like DPD, La Poste in France, these different companies, they prop up their service in Germany or France, and that props up the letter service as well in France, Germany, Holland, So they've all got like the subsidiaries that prop the service up. Yeah, and I think this Visa wants the JLS bit, the profitable bit, and then maybe they'll give that back. Right, they say at the government, right, you can have that back, like about the letters and stuff. Because you need a good postal system. They're saying the letters are on decline, but I was talking to an accountant on holiday. He was saying, I was explaining what's happening. What am I going to do with important documents I need and this, that, and that? I says, well, the service is just going to be gone, and you're going to have any Tom, Dick, or Harry delivering them. You know what I mean? And I just wouldn't. We're accountable for as being postmen. They know we. The customers know we as well. You know what I mean? So
well, that's it. What I wanted to get across was I just don't want people to take what you do for granted because it's been there for hundreds of years. And we've always
500 years.
It's just a level of continuity throughout history. There's more support there on the beeps. Go on. But I mean, that's the thing. It provides continuity, doesn't it? And
it does.
If that was taken away, I think a lot of small businesses will grind to a halt completely.
Absolutely.
Also, it's the trust, isn't it? It's like important, sensitive documents being just chucked about by these outside couriers. With the work that you do, you can trust it. You know,
Yeah.
like it's a different like level of elite beyond the courier system.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, I remember TNT brought this company. They've still got them. Whistle, right? And they're trying to have their own delivery guys. They're trying to bring in competition to do it. They just couldn't do it. And then what you were happening, like I say, any Tom, Dick, or Harry delivering, there was stuff hiding bushes and like dumped.
Man.
You know, that was when that was Whistle, the company that's well known about. We
I'm
wouldn't dream of
surprised you
doing
could
that.
get them in the bushes round there with the amount of razzles that are nicked in the 80s. There'll be an old marathon bar stuck next to them as well. Not a Snickers, it's a marathon. It's that old.
Dear me.
Terrible. Anyway, a bit of Frankie Vaughan chat. Here's some Ali keeps saying, morning all, solidarity with you and your colleagues, Pickas. Happy days.
Thank you very much.
Lovely. Loads of support coming in. Jem Durden's here. I stand with you. Solidarity with all striking workers. Happy days.
Excellent.
Loads of support. I'll just ask you a couple more things before you get off, Pickas, if that's right. You got time?
Not a problem, Gary. Yeah, plenty of time. I'm not at work.
Right, so let's see what we've got here. Pull this up. Right. This one was struck as the CWU News tweeted this out. Royal Mail Group are using the Ride app to recruit couriers to break the strikes tomorrow and Thursday. Do you think now is a good time to reveal we have hundreds of people signed up for shifts tomorrow? None of them will be turning up. Hashtag stand by your post.
Well,
it's getting dirty.
It is, isn't it? It's getting dirty. Well, that law was changed a few months ago where they could bring casuals in. Same for the railways and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then, like I say, bring casuals in. Nobody's going to clear all the mail. We know how to do it. You're going to get casuals in. I don't think any casuals are doing it anyway. It's just not going to work. And I don't think enough casuals will want to do it. Casual, want to do the work anyway. And I heard a story last week as well. Some casual in some office, he says, I think it was raining one day. He says, I'm not coming in today. I don't want to get wet. I mean,
I mean, it's part of the course with your job, like.
Yeah, getting wet and cold. Also, you can't just do this job. You've got to have the knowledge. Oh, there's another one.
Get in.
You've got to have the knowledge as well. We've got the knowledge about how to sort the letters and do this. It's same on the trains. You can't just get a casual in to be a guard or whatever without training and stuff like that.
Exactly, and just from the worker's perspective as well. You need the companies need to invest in the worker with training and opportunities. Like you cannot just keep going, right, sign up to this via an app and then come and work and whatever.
Yeah.
I don't want people without any screening handling my post and medical documents and things like that, man. How
yeah. I mean, it has been known in the past, posties have the tiny 0.0001% that has tea leaf that go to prison in this country. Quite right, they should as well.
Right.
And it's happened. I've seen it happen before. People dumping mail in this. No, it doesn't happen. And this is what will happen if they get casualised workforce. They'll not be interested. Like I say, if it's raining, I don't want to get wet. I'm not coming in today. It's
crazy, it is. Here's an interesting comment, Pickas. Joanne's saying, I know a bad postal system had one letter in 9 years in Turkey. That's what it will become in the UK.
Exactly. One letter in 9 years.
It's
yeah.
Tremendous.
There's
another one here, just in line with the community stuff you do. Ross Thompson saying, I'm also waiting on a few things being delivered for Christmas. I'm not chewed if they were late. My family supports the strikes, so would rather get behind them and open them after Christmas. What a great attitude.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, like I say, we want to do this for long term. I know it's just one Christmas. And also the union came out with a good status. The postman's not for Christmas. The postman's not, what is it? The dog's not for
Christmas, for life.
For life. It's not just Christmas. Yeah, exactly. I do want to see some puppies. Right. Sorry. Anyway.
Is there anything you want to say to the people before we get off, and just what how can we help and that kind of thing? What's happening? What do you need?
Just be patient. We're sorry it didn't inconvenience you for Christmas. Like I say, we want to all we need is just the support and keep tweeting your postman. Don't take it out on your postman. It's the management at fault, not us. like I say, we love providing a good service. That's all we need, really, Gary. You know, and we'll
Just
keep
a bit
on
of
fighting.
support in it, pal.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, before we do go, the amount of times you've called us me actual government name has went down by about half, so we've got progress. Next time we'll get you on.
Okay, Mike.
We'll have it. But honestly, I
you can call me what you want if you want.
Just buckled inside every time you do it. I think it's just funny as hell. Pickas, I love you, mate. And
thank you too. Love you too, Gary.
You can do to spread the word.
And thank you very much for the support,
lads and
everyone.
Picket line and before we go. Let's see the picket line before we go.
Right,
mate.
okay. We'll get a cheer as well.
Get a cheer, Gannon.
Can we have a cheer, everyone? Hey!
Come on, up the
There we
posties.
go.
Up the posties.
There we go.
Love that, pal.
But like I say,
all the very best to you.
Thanks very much for the support, folks. We'll see you soon, and hopefully we'll get this service back on track. That's all I want to do.
Opening fight, well, like if you're up for it, we'll have you on like later on, and you can give one update again.
I'm just thinking, Gary, if the 4G's any good down London next week, I'm hoping to go down to Parliament Square with the Union. So that would be brilliant. If the 4G's up to it, we'll give it a go. You know what I mean?
Days,
so
mate,
I'm hoping to go down. We'll put the big rally on. It's going to be massive, big trade union rally for the CW at Parliament Square. I was down there in the summer as well. It was meant to be outside the Royal Mail HQ, but it's going to be outside. It's going to be in Parliament Square now.
Go, like members of the public?
Oh yeah, the support. Well, actually, absolutely. Yeah.
Great. So we'll promote that phrase. Like if you're like out there, go along and support the posties. What was the date of that again, Pickas?
That is next Friday the 9th, is it? Yeah. Next Friday the 9th. Parliament Square, 1 to 3 p.m.
Parliament Square, 1 till 3 p.m. Get along, support the posties at Parliament Square if you're about. Cheers, pal. Speak to you soon, right?
Take care, folks. See you later.
Easy. Bye-bye.
Mike.